What if the man who sits atop one of the largest fortunes in human history decided to abandon it all? No limousines, no private jets, no boardrooms. Just a simple life in an ordinary world, where no one knows his name. What if that man, Jeff Bezos, chose to step out of his empire and into the shoes of someone society often overlooks? A homeless man. This isn't just a story about a billionaire playing dress-up. It's a journey, a deeply human one. A journey of rediscovery, of humility, and of unexpected connections. And it all begins in the most unlikely of places, a small, bustling cafe where dreams simmer as much as the coffee does. But make no mistake, this story isn't about coffee or pastries. It's about raw, unfiltered human experience. Moments of kindness that ripple into transformation, and prejudice that gets shattered under the weight of truth. Along the way, you'll meet Amy, a struggling single mom with a fire in her heart. Chris, a dreamer who believes in something bigger. And Tom, a man blinded by cynicism. All of them, unknowingly, on a collision course with destiny. Stay with us because the ending of this story will take your breath away. It's not just about who Jeff Bezos becomes, but how one decision can change lives forever, including his own. And when the truth comes out, well, let's just say you'll never look at kindness, or wealth, the same way again. Are you ready for a story that will challenge what you think you know about money, power, and humanity? Let's begin. High above the city skyline, in an office that exudes power and wealth, sits a man who has it all. Jeff Bezos, creator of a global empire, a name synonymous with success. Yet, as he gazes out at the sprawling metropolis below, there's a question gnawing at him, one that even his billions can't seem to answer. In the silence of his office, surrounded by the spoils of his success, he asks himself the question, what's the point of it all if I don't truly understand the people I'm building for? The weight of this realization presses on him, heavier than any boardroom decision he's ever made. To his assistant, he shares his bold idea, a radical departure from the life he knows. I want to strip it all away, he says, his voice resolute. The name, the power, the money. I want to live as no one. At first, there's silence. Then hesitation. But Jeff's determination leaves no room for doubt. This isn't a passing whim. It's a calling. And so begins a transformation unlike anything he's ever attempted. The clippers buzz as his neatly groomed hair falls away, piece by piece. He trades designer suits for worn, threadbare clothes. His luxury watch, once a symbol of his stature, is carefully stored away, a relic of a life he's leaving behind. Each step is deliberate, calculated, stripping him of the trappings of wealth and power. In the mirror, he takes a long, hard look at himself. The man staring back is unrecognizable, not just to the world, but even to Jeff himself. There's no glint of the billionaire here, no hint of the mogul who once commanded the world's attention. For the first time in decades, he's just a man. Ordinary, vulnerable, and ready to step into a life far removed from anything he's ever known. What drives a man to walk away from everything he's built? Is it guilt? Curiosity? Or perhaps something deeper? A yearning to reconnect with a world he's been too far removed from? Whatever it is, Jeff Bezos is about to embark on the journey of a lifetime. And it all starts now. And so, with nothing but a few coins in his pocket and the weight of the world's expectations stripped from his shoulders, Jeff steps into an unassuming cafe. It's the kind of place where life unfolds in quiet, unremarkable ways. A corner of the city where dreams are brewed as often as the coffee. But today, Jeff is about to discover that even in the most ordinary spaces, extraordinary stories are waiting to be told. The air is warm, the smell of roasted beans mingling with the faint sound of chatter and clinking cups. Yet, the moment he walks through the door, he feels the weight of curious eyes. Some glance with mild interest, others with quiet judgment, and a few with open disdain. A scruffy man in tattered clothes isn't exactly the cafe's usual clientele. Behind the counter, Amy juggles two battles at once, balancing steaming mugs on a tray while trying to soothe her toddler, who's perched on the edge of the counter and crying softly. There's a tired determination in her eyes, the kind only a single mother can muster, though it's clear the cracks in her armor are beginning to show. Nearby, Chris, the young barista, steals quick moments between orders to scribble something on a napkin. His hands move quickly, sketching and writing, a flicker of hope in his otherwise dreamy gaze. When Jeff quietly asks, "What are you writing there?" Chris hesitates before replying, "Just a dream, starting my own cafe one day." Jeff smiles faintly, his words deliberate. Dreams start small, but they grow when you water them. It's a quiet moment, but one that plants a seed of hope in Chris, a seed Jeff knows all too well. But not everyone is so welcoming. Tom, the cafe scruff manager, spots Jeff lingering by the counter and marches over, his irritation evident in every step. "Are you planning to order something, or are you just here to loiter?" He snaps, his tone sharp, his gaze cutting. The room goes silent, the kind of silence that makes time feel heavy. Jeff, calm and composed, simply nods and steps aside, but the subtle sting of Tom's words lingers. It's a reminder of the divide, how easily appearances dictate worth in the eyes of others. For Jeff, it's not just an observation. It's a lesson unfolding in real time. As Jeff takes a seat in the corner, unnoticed by most, the cafe hums back to life. But beneath the surface, stories are brewing: Amy's quiet struggle, Chris's fragile dream, and Tom's hardened outlook. Little do they know, their lives are on the brink of change, all because of the scruffy man they've dismissed so quickly. And while they see a stranger with nothing to offer, Jeff sees something far greater: potential. The kind of potential that doesn't just change businesses, but changes lives. The journey has only just begun. The cafe, once bustling with warmth and chatter, now carries an uneasy chill. At the center of it stands Amy, her voice trembling but firm as she confronts Tom. "You've been keeping the tips, haven't you? That money isn't yours." Her words cut through the air like a blade, drawing the attention of a few nearby customers and staff. Tom, unbothered, leans against the counter, his expression cold. "And what are you going to do about it?" He sneers, crossing his arms. "Maybe if you spent more time working and less time whining, you wouldn't be in this mess." His words are laced with disdain, a dismissal of Amy's struggles as though they're an inconvenience to him. Standing in the corner, Jeff watches the exchange, his expression unreadable. It's a scene he's seen play out before, people with power dismissing those without. But this time, he's not just a bystander. As Amy turns away, tears of frustration welling in her eyes, Jeff quietly reaches into his pocket and slips a folded bill into her coat, unnoticed by most, except Chris. The young barista, standing nearby, catches Jeff's subtle gesture. There's a flicker of curiosity, even admiration, in his eyes. Later, when the cafe slows, Jeff approaches Chris, who's once again scribbling on napkins. "Still working on that dream?" Jeff asks, his voice calm but purposeful. Chris nods, hesitating for a moment before replying. "It's just an idea. I don't think I'll ever make it happen." Jeff leans closer, his words measured. Dreams don't become reality overnight, but every great business started with someone daring to believe. If you have a plan, work on it. Refine it. And when the moment comes, don't be afraid to take the leap. But the moment of calm doesn't last. Tom's harsh voice cuts through the air once again, this time directed at Jeff. "Hey, if you're not buying anything, get out. We don't need people like you hanging around." The room grows silent as Jeff steps forward, his calm demeanor unwavering. "Employees aren't tools," Jeff begins, his voice steady but firm. "Treat them poorly, and you'll lose more than their respect. You'll lose your business. Treat them well, and they'll help you build something far greater." Tom lets out a harsh laugh, crossing his arms. "And what do you know about running a business? You're just some bum off the street." The words hang heavy in the air, but Jeff doesn't flinch. Instead, there's a spark of determination in his eyes, a resolve that goes far deeper than Tom could ever understand. Jeff doesn't respond, not yet. He knows this battle isn't about proving his worth to Tom. It's about something bigger. Changing a mindset. Shifting a culture. And as he looks around the cafe, at Amy's quiet resilience, at Chris's fragile hope, Jeff makes a silent vow to himself. This isn't just about kindness anymore. It's about making things right. Little does Tom know, the man he just dismissed so easily is about to challenge everything he believes about power, success, and leadership. And Jeff Bezos? He's just getting started. As the days pass, Jeff begins to immerse himself in the quiet lives around him. He moves carefully, his actions deliberate but unseen. To the world, he's just a man with nothing, but in truth, he's quietly working to make everything better for those who need it most. One morning, Amy rushes into the cafe, her usual weariness replaced by a rare glimmer of hope. Her landlord had called, telling her her overdue rent had been paid in full. Confusion lingers in her mind, but gratitude shines brighter. She doesn't know that Jeff, seated quietly in the corner, had made that call late last night, using an anonymous name to ensure her family wouldn't lose their home. In the quieter moments of the day, Jeff sits with Chris at a corner table, a pile of napkins and scribbled notes between them. Chris looks nervous, his hands fidgeting as he speaks. "I want to open my own cafe, but I don't know where to start. Investors want confidence, but all I've got are ideas." Jeff leans forward, his voice steady and encouraging. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from believing in what you're building. "Let's practice." He slides a napkin across the table, and for the next hour, they role-play investor meetings. Jeff challenges Chris and pushes him to refine his pitch, and by the end, there's a spark of determination in Chris's eyes that wasn't there before. But it's not just Amy and Chris who catch Jeff's attention. In the far corner of the cafe, a young artist sits hunched over a sketchbook, her pencil moving furiously across the page. Jeff notices the frustration in her expression as she crumples another sheet and reaches for a fresh one. He approaches carefully, his voice gentle. "What's the rush?" She looks up, startled, before mumbling, "Deadlines. If I don't finish this, I'll lose my client." Jeff studies her sketches, his admiration genuine. "You've got talent. Maybe the problem isn't the art, it's the pressure. Take a breath. The best ideas come when you stop forcing them." His words linger with her, and as he steps away, she looks back at her sketchbook with renewed clarity. In the quiet moments, when the cafe empties and the world feels still, Jeff sits alone with his thoughts. His mind drifts back to his other life. The boardrooms, the skyscrapers, the endless meetings about profits and margins. He whispers to himself, almost as if seeking an answer from the universe. Have I traded humanity for success? Maybe it's time to balance the scales. Yet, as much as he feels at home in these small acts of kindness, the weight of his identity presses down on him. There's a part of him torn between the life he left behind and the one he's discovering now. For the first time in years, Jeff Bezos, the billionaire, the titan of industry, feels like just a man searching for meaning in the lives he touches. But every action, every whispered word of encouragement, draws him closer to the truth. His hidden generosity is shaping lives in ways he never anticipated, yet it's also forcing him to confront a question he's not ready to answer. Can he ever truly return to the man he once was? The atmosphere in the cafe shifts when Tom, ever the skeptic, stumbles upon something unexpected. Among a stack of discarded newspapers in the back office, his eyes lock on a familiar face. The headline reads, "Jeff Bezos embarks on mysterious social experiment." He freezes, disbelief washing over him as the pieces start to fall into place. The quiet man, the wisdom in his words, the subtle acts of generosity, it all points to one astonishing truth. Tom bursts back into the cafe, the crumpled newspaper in hand, his voice sharp and accusatory. "You're Bezos. Jeff Bezos. What's the meaning of this charade?" The cafe falls silent, all eyes turning to the disheveled man in the corner. Jeff doesn't flinch. He rises slowly, the weight of the moment reflected in his calm, measured tone. "You're right, Tom. I am Jeff Bezos. But this wasn't a charade." He pauses, looking around the room, meeting the eyes of each person he's quietly impacted. "I came here to learn, to remember what it means to connect with people, to see the world without the filter of wealth and power. And you know what I discovered? $1 billion can't buy what I found here." The cafe erupts in whispers, but Jeff raises a hand, commanding silence. His voice, steady and resolute, carries a message no one saw coming. This cafe deserves better. It deserves to thrive under leadership that understands its value, not in dollars, but in dreams. He turns to Chris and Amy, their faces a mix of shock and awe. Chris, Amy, you've shown resilience, passion, and heart. This place is yours now. Build something you're proud of. For a moment, there's stunned silence, as if the room collectively holds its breath. Then applause breaks out, hesitant at first, but growing, building, until it fills every corner of the cafe. Chris stammers, his voice trembling. I don't know what to say. Amy's eyes glisten with tears, her hands covering her mouth. Jeff simply smiles, the warmth of his expression reassuring. Say nothing. Just lead with kindness. The crowd buzzes with energy, customers and staff alike marveling at the turn of events. Tom, the once gruff manager, stands off to the side, his expression unreadable. Jeff approaches him, offering a quiet word. It's not too late to change, Tom. Everyone deserves a chance to start over. For once, Tom has no response, only a nod of reluctant understanding. And as the cafe revels in its newfound hope, Jeff steps back, unnoticed amid the celebration. He watches the lives he's touched, the change he's ignited, and for the first time in years, he feels a sense of purpose beyond the walls of boardrooms and balance sheets. The man who entered as a stranger leaves as something far more profound, a catalyst for transformation. As weeks turn into months, the cafe transforms before the eyes of its loyal customers. What was once a place of struggle becomes a vibrant hub of community, creativity, and connection. The walls, once bare, are now adorned with the work of local artists, paintings, sketches, and photographs that tell stories of the people who pass through its doors. The air is filled with laughter, music, and the hum of deep conversations shared over steaming cups of coffee. On any given day, you'll find Amy, the mother who once juggled exhaustion and despair, now greeting customers with a smile that radiates warmth and strength. She's no longer just surviving, she's thriving, building a life for her child and herself, one day at a time. Chris, the dreamer-turned-leader, has taken the cafe's reins with passion and precision. His once uncertain dreams now flourish in the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of loyal patrons returning day after day. And in the midst of it all, a young artist who once struggled in silence now finds her work celebrated. She's no longer the hidden soul sketching in the corners of the cafe. She's the artist whose work inspires others, whose creations adorn walls far beyond this small space. From the outside, it looks like just another success story. But for Jeff, it's more than that. In a quiet moment, as he reflects on the changes that have taken place, his voice breaks the silence. Success isn't about what you own, it's about the lives you touch. It's about the connections you make, the hearts you impact, and the legacies you help build. Jeff watches from the distance as Amy and Chris continue to lead, their faces glowing with fulfillment. He smiles, knowing that this small act of kindness, this choice to step away from the shadows of his wealth, has set in motion a change that will ripple through the lives of many for years to come. And as the sun sets, casting a golden light over the cafe's new life, Jeff steps out into the world once again. The man who once held the keys to vast empires walks away, blending into the crowd. For the first time in a long while, he walks without a title, without expectations. Just a man, content and at peace. His smile is the only proof of the profound transformation he's undergone, a transformation that doesn't require the world to know who he is or what he's done. In the end, it's not the money we accumulate that defines us, it's the lives we touch along the way. And sometimes, the greatest legacy isn't built with wealth, but with the kindness and courage to change the world, one person at a time. One act of kindness can change the world. Think about it. What's one thing you could do today to make a real impact in someone's life? It doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes, the smallest gestures mean the most. So, how will you make a difference? Let this story remind you that kindness isn't just a choice. It's the ultimate currency in building a better world. If you believe in the power of change, if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that inspire. Remember, kindness is always in season. Let's spread it far and wide.